Good morning, students. In today's class, we are going to see the classical optimization method. Under that, we are going to see a linear programming model, nonlinear programming method, and integer programming method. First, optimization means what? Optimization is nothing but making the power to get it optimized with respect to variation in your input and because of uncertainties the power is getting varied, so we should get a optimized power then when we are going to supply to your load circuit. So here we are going to use a computational tool which is going to be the intelligent tool, and in this we have a different methods. First is going to be the linear programming method, whether it is a optimization problem for single variable method or double variable method or multivariable method. So usually we will write the program to make the power optimization for multivariable optimization technique. So linear programming method. So linear programming, it is a mathematical model to describe the problem with linear objectives and linear constraints. So when you are having the smart grid parameter, smart grid problem as a linear objective and linear constraint, then we can use this linear programming model. So linear programming is nothing but the simple mathematical model to describe the problem with linear objective and linear constraints. And the general structure of the problem solved by this method will be here. The general structure of the problem solved by this method is going to be: assume that the model is statistically linear. The process to achieve the global optimum uses simplex like techniques, variants of interior point method or integer programming method. So in the upcoming session we'll be seeing about what is meant by an integer programming model. In this we are going to see the linear programming model. This uses linear objective and linear constraint to describe the problem, and the general structure of the problem is we need to assume the our model is going to be statistically linear. We have to assume it. Though the system is having a non-linearity, we have to assume the system model is going to be linear and it is going to achieve a global optimum parameter. Global optimum performance it is going to achieve by using a simplex techniques like a interior point method or integer method. So therefore the solution of this, the process, whatever it is used to attain this global optimum, it is going to use a simplex method, and the methods whatever we are going to use, it is applicable to the problems involving linear objective functions and linear constraints. So if it is going to be a non-linear function or non-linear constraints, then it is not possible for us to solve it by means of interior point method or integer programming method. Therefore, to make this method applicable to the problems involving linear objectives and linear function, we have to use a correct method, that is in relating with the problems. Solution procedure of your linear programming. The first one is going to be your initialization step. Initialization step in the sense, here we need to introduce a slack variable. Slack variable is nothing but it is going to be the additional variable. If required, we can add this slack variable during this initialization step. So when you are adding this slack variable as an initial step, this is used and it could be determine the initial point or as a corner point solution of the equality constraints. In order to obtain the initial point as a corner point and also to obtain it under equality constraints, either we can add a slack variable or it is not required. So it is an optional one. If we want, we can add it. If we don't want, no need to add it. So that could be the initial step. Next one is going to be your iteration step. Iteration step in the sense, we will have one monetary value, that is EMV, and we will fix this. We know that particular system is designed for one certain amount of power delivery. So we'll fix that monetary value. Based on that value, we will be identifying the initial condition. So we'll check whether the obtained value is with respect to your linear objective and linear constraint. Then if we have to iterate it, we will be fixing this one and we will be iterating the present value until the desired value is obtained. So iteration step is nothing but we will be moving the current basic feasible solution to the better value, that is which is adjacent to your perfect solution, perfect feasible solution. The next step is determining the basic variable. Determining and entering the basic variable means you have to select the non-basic variable. When increased, when your non-basic variable is increased, it will raise to the objective function. It makes the designed objective function to increase at a faster rate. So we have to determine the variable leaving all your basic variables such that your basic variable will be reaching 0 as soon as it enters the basic as soon as it enters 0, it starts to increase. So your present variable has to increase, like it is just like a equilibrium state. If you are considering x value ranging from x is equal to 0 to 1, all of a sudden it will not maintain a value at 1. It starts with 0 and it increases for certain time with respect to whether it is going to be your rise time or fall time, and later after certain moment of time it is going to maintain the stabilized condition. Likewise, when you are going to determine the basic variable, first the initializing variable has to be set to 0, that is it has to be 0, and then we need to make that program to enter the first basic variable in the increasing mode. So determining the entering the basic variable means select the non-basic variable that when increased would increase the objective at faster rate, and determine the new variable leaving your basic variable and select your basic variable to reach 0 first as the entering basic variable is increased. Now you have to determine the new basic feasible solution. Once this basic variable after entering it starts to increase, we have to determine the new basic feasible solution. Then we have to go for optimality test and termination criteria. Optimality test and termination criteria, why it is required in the sense, in this we have to check whether the objective can be increased by increasing any non-basic variable. Whether the objective could be reached by increasing the non-basic variable or by rewriting the objective function. So we might have written the objective function for single variable function or multivariable function. Whether the written objective function can be changed in terms of non-basic variables only, and also we can check the sign of the coefficient of each of your non-basic variable. If all the coefficients are going to be non-positive, that is if all the coefficients are going to be negative, then we can say the solution is optimum, otherwise go to iterative. So it is just like a programming model, or it's just like an algorithm, where if this step is not satisfied, then it will go to the second step, that is iteration step. Applying the linear programming method to smart grid. When you are applying this linear programming model to the smart grid, it requires improvisation, because only with the linear programming model it is not possible to attain 100% optimization. So improvisation is required in order to accommodate the grid stochasticity, predictivity, adaptivity and randomness. Therefore, the traditional linear method, whatever we have seen over here, it is going to be get confined with respect to your static problem. It is not going to give a better solution for your dynamic system, and therefore it is insufficient for your smart grid implementation. If you are going to have the linear programming model only with this particular step, it is not possible to obtain an effective solution. In order to obtain the effective solution, we need to see what other different programming models are available, how better we can use that modeling technique, how better we can use that programming techniques to improve the smart grid performance, and we like integration of this programming models, will it be leading to any advantages with respect to smart grid system performance and efficiency. So applying this non-linear programming method in the smart grid requires improvisation to accommodate the grid stochasticity, predictivity, adaptivity and randomness. The traditional linear method is confined to static problem, and thus it is insufficient for smart grid implementation. So in case of your linear programming, we'll write the objective function. The objective function could either be your single variable objective function or multivariable objective function. When you are writing it, you have to have the initialization step. So when you are writing the initialization step, you have to initialize all the variable with respect to static system. With respect to 0, like the variation in the parameters should be 0. So any slack variable can be added or it could be neglected depending upon the requirement, and it is mainly used for determining the initial point as a corner point solution of your equality constraints. Next is going to be your iteration step. This iteration step is followed until the required step is attained. Determining the basic variable usually will be having a non-basic variable, and this basic variable directly it cannot increase the values. First it will be rest at 0 and later it will be moved on from that 0 value to like a stabilized equilibrium condition. Next, determine the new basic feasible solution. Optimality test and termination criteria. It is mainly meant to check whether the objective can be increased by increasing any of the non-basic variable or by rewriting the objective function by changing the basic variable to a non-basic variable. The sign of the coefficient is going to be non-positive. If the sign is going to be non-positive, then we can say the solution is optimum. Otherwise, if the solution is not optimum, then you have to go and repeat from step number 2. Next part is going to be the nonlinear programming, and for this nonlinear programming will write the function. So the nonlinear programming typically employs Lagrangian or Newton technique for constraints and unconstrained optimization problem. Here we are going to write the modeling function maximize f of y. It is going to be the optimization function for the multivariable method, and here we are having it is subjected to Ci, Fi and Fi of y. It is between Ci to Di. However, the mathematical response of the power system will be diverted from its assumption in many of the instances. In case of your nonlinear programming model, it employs your Lagrangian or Newton technique for constraints and unconstrained optimization problem, and also this approach will assume that all the objective functions are modeled as a smooth and continuous. In case of linear, all the functions are considered to be linear. No uncertainties is incorporated in case of linear programming model. Whereas here all the objective functions are modeled as smooth and continuous function. And however, the mathematical response of the power system will divert from these assumptions or in many cases. Here when you see the procedure of solving the nonlinear programming class of problem, we have problem stems, like we have n number of problem stems. From identifying the feasibility of satisfaction, convergence is due to sufficiency condition as given in work defined by your KT condition. Therefore, the sensitivity method, barrier method and quadratic programming method will have all the features in this class, and this can be stated briefly for your nonlinear programming method. So first point in this, it is going to be we have to determine the initial state. So these are all the steps that we need to follow when we are writing this nonlinear programming for an optimization technique. We need to determine the initial feasible set based on investigation of extreme of the function with or without the constraint. So here either you can incorporate the variation in the constraint or you can neglect it. With or without the constraint, we can determine the initial feasible set based on investigation. Next, we need to check the optimality condition. Then you have to determine the candidate solution for local or global optimum problem. Then we need to perform further optimization until the required optimal value for the objective function is attained for the specific constraints. This is going to be your nonlinear programming. In nonlinear programming, it involves the application of Kohn-Tucker and Kirsch-Kohn-Tucker first and second order necessary and sufficient condition can be applied to the function as well as the functional. Therefore, the NLP problem can be classified based on the nature of the objective function and constraint. The two challenges of your NLP, that is nonlinear programming, are its large computational burden. That is, here it is nature of the objective functions and constraints. It is going to have two challenges. One is going to be large computational burden and its limitation to static variable in objectives and constraints. Moreover, your NLP including quadratic programming will often suffers if the approximation to the actual model for these devices are not sufficiently accurate. Apart from this, it is going to be the very common form for many of the problem. Quadratic programming will be useful for many of such type of problems that is occurring in the power system, and the series of quadratic programming is known as sequential quadratic programming. Again, what we can see in the sense, in case of your linear programming, as like in your linear programming, the non-linear programming classes, as like your linear programming, the non-linear programming classes are not suitable or designed to handle variability and predictivity. Therefore, research is needed to include the smart grid feature if they are to be used as a computational tool. Now, more work is needed to improve this technique in order to include the special requirement for the smart grid optimization process, which requires adaptiveness, predictivity, and stochasticity algorithm. Next, we'll go for the integer programming model. So far, we have seen the linear programming method, non-linear programming method. In linear programming method, we will develop the objective function based on linear constraints. Whereas in case of non-linear programming method, we'll develop the objective function based on the non-linear constraints. And this, in addition with the non-linear programming, here the process may involve the application of Contacor and Kirsch-Contacor first and second order, that is required as a necessary and sufficient condition to make the function effective in case of non-linearities. Integer programming. So integer programming is nothing but it is a special case of your linear programming model. So in linear programming, under that we have an integer programming where all or some of the decision variables are restricted to discrete integer values. The output objective function, after writing the objective function, will get the output as a integer values. For example, when the discrete values are restricted to 0 and only 1, that is yes or no decision can be taken, or any binary decision, either it could be 0 or it could be 1. So like that only we can consider in case of your integer programming model. This integer programming model function, this is your objective function. It can maximize function p of x is equal to summation j is equal to 1 to n cj and xi, subjected to the constraints summation I is equal to 1 to m, summation I is equal to 1 to n, aij xj less than or equal to bi. And based on this equation, we have to see the branch and bound procedure features in order to incorporate this integer programming in smart grid. The branch and bound procedure features is as below. First is going to be your initialization. Under this initialization, we are going to set the value of conjugate power. Conjugate power is equal to minus infinity, where p asterisk is going to be the optimal value of your power. So this is going to be the optimal value of your power p. So first we have to initialize what is our p asterisk, that is p conjugate, which is equal to minus infinity. Like this we have to initialize. The next one is going to be branching. Branching in the sense it has having a steps. Branching in the sense from one part of your program, it will be moving on to the other part of the program. So in smart grid computational tool, it will have a problem. So it will have a problem where this problem will have several sub problems. Sub problem number 1, sub problem number 2. So it will have many sub problems. Therefore, this branching instruction, branching will, what it will do in the sense, it will identify the step and it will involve the steps in developing sub problems by fixing the binary values either at 0 or at 1, or by choosing the first element in natural ordering of the variable as your branch variable. So we have a problem and sub problems. For all these sub problems, the binary value will be fixed. Either it will be fixed with 0 or 1, and using will be selecting the first element in natural ordering of the variable as a branching variable. Once the branching is done, then we'll go for bounding function. In this bounding function, for each of your sub problem, a bound can be obtained in order to obtain the feasible solution. We have a problem and many sub problems. For each sub problem, we will be assigning the value either 0 or 1. The first element in this is going to be defined in the nature of the ordering of the branch variable. Third is going to be your bounding. Under this bounding, we will be obtaining the for each of the subproblem a boundary value, that is what is your minimum and maximum value. A boundary value will be obtained in order to attain the goodness of your best feasible solution. So for each of your subproblems there will be a boundary condition. Depending upon the boundary condition, its value will be fixed and its system feasibility can be obtained. Next is going to be your phantoming. Phantoming means if a subproblem has a feasible solution. Once a feasible solution is obtained for the subproblem, then it has to be stored as the first increment for the whole problem along with the value of your p. So initially we are initializing the value of your conjugate power. So initially here we will be initializing p asterisk as minus infinity, which is going to be the optimal value of your given parameter p. In phantoming process, for this, once the feasible solution is obtained in the bounding process, then in phantoming for the same subproblem which has got the obtained feasible solution, it will be stored as a first increment number for the whole problem along with the value of the initialized p. Then this denoted p asterisk, which is nothing but the current compartment. So this phantoming, so if a feasible solution is obtained, then this feasible solution in the place of p asterisk which is initialized before, that will be replaced with the new variable. Likewise, until the desired value is obtained, the phantoming process will store the values then and there. And the last one is going to be your optimality test. It is going to be the iterative procedure which stops when no subproblems remain. So when all the subproblems has been resolved, then this optimality test will automatically stop. And this stage, the current incumbent for P is going to be the optimal solution. And this is going to be the key features of your integer programming. So in the next class, we'll see the dynamic programming method of classical optimization method. Thank you, students.